On our last update, we shared that we may have been stuck in Baume Les Dames for up to 6 weeks due to a section of the canal ahead being closed. If you're going to be stuck somewhere indefinitely, as you do, you adopt a local horse as your pet, and you feed him carrots and apples if you're Tracy, which he seems to like. But then, if you're Tony, you give him sugar cubes, which of course he really enjoyed. One of our days in Baume Les Dames, we noticed a crowd gathering on the opposite bank, and they were watching a dad and 2 boys that were fishing off the pontoon. And we saw them pull out this catfish, which was about 1 metre long, and then we could understand why people were so intrigued. The young guy, when he takes it, he was struggling to hold on to it because it was so heavy. And once they took their photos and everything, they threw it back in, which was good. We've seen some catfish before in the canals, and we've also seen some really big carp in there. And fishing is a big pastime here. People all ages are doing it all the time, and you see them fishing almost every day that you're travelling along. Mostly they catch the fish and throw them back in, and there's also black bass in the canals, which they must be released. And so we've just sat back and we've been enjoying the swans swimming by and just, chillaxing in Baume Les Dames while we've been on indefinite hiatus. But we got a notice, we've had a little bit of rain, and we then got a notice from the VNF that the canal ahead was reopened. So we decided to move on and hopefully get all the way through. So we left Baume Les Dames, which started with Tony having to expertly manoeuvre past this large ex-freight barge that was in the mooring. And because the water's so low, they were about 2 metres off the edge of the mooring. They couldn't get any closer. And so Tony had to go kind of off to the side in the canal and get past it for us to be able to move on, which he did really well. And then, of course, he had to get back into the centre to get through the floodgates. So good piece of driving there, and didn't scrape or hit anything. And, they were out watching us, making sure that we didn't touch their boat, which we didn't. So all smoothly going past there. But the water levels are still low, and the VNF will continue to monitor the water levels, and we'll get notices if there's any issues. But it's part of the River Allen, which is the section that's low, and that's why they've closed it. We've had some rain though, which has been good, and there's more forecast, so we're hoping that there'll be enough for us to get through to Strasbourg, because the water level on the other side of the closure is at 0.9, which is the same as our draft. So we'd rather some more water to make it easier. And the low water has also meant the water temperature has risen, and the VNF have suspended all weed removing. So you can see the weed and the frog spawn that's in the water, and the weed really impacts your speed. We're having to clean our hatch almost every lock, even as we travel along the Doubs. And you can see the barrage that we've just gone past there, or the weir. And you can still see all the weed that's in the water there, and that just really gets a hold of your propeller and slows you right down. So every lock we're in, we're cleaning that out. So we saw some cows in the water. They're trying to do that little bit and remove the weeds, but they're just eating the lilies on the edge. They need to get out into the middle and really do a better job of it. The journey from Baume Les Dames, it's been really nice. We're on the Doubs for some stretches of it, and then we also go on some canalised sections. Stopped in Île-sur-le-Doubs, and we had a hailstorm. But that's meant there's been a bit more water. It did knock down a tree. We had a 4-hour delay waiting for that to be cleared, and we've since been on our way. So we're moving through to Montbéliard. We'll stay here for a week, and then we will begin our journey to Strasbourg.